You are entering the cosmos.
Hello, cadets, and welcome to another episode of General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. I'm General Lemuel T. Howitzer, retired. There's Fred already in the inside. Wonderful. Jonathan Phipps is here. Thank you, cadet. Let's go ahead and bring up our able-bodied assistant, Major Millie Hazzard.
Hello, Gio. I saw you in the green room. You were doing some dance moves. You were doing some King Kong, or you were doing some Godzilla.
I was reacting to the video. Yes.
It was very beautiful to watch, and I think the peach tea kind of infuses in your brain and in your body, and it's a very beautiful thing. There you go. Let's get some noises. The cadets want the noises.
So you're still top secret now.
I'm top secret, but the good news is that we have a very beautiful guest, and she's the most glamorous of all our guests, if I might say so. I mean, she's very glamorous. Even her name is glamorous.
She really is the Catherine O'Hara of our vampire shows. She's quite something. But we're sorry with it. We missed your last show. I know you're on top secret assignment, and I hope you're doing what you need to do.
I have a lab coat. I have a lab coat, General. I have top secret, clearance. Everything is very classified, but it's okay. The only thing I can tell you is that the big monster that I am working on right now, he's a little hairy. That's the only thing I can say. My superior said I'm allowed to say he's a little hairy. That's all it is.
Well, get a big shaver and work on it. Get it worked out.
Exactly. There you go. Thank you.
All right. So
yes, it is true that Ruby Morales is glamorous. Also, I shouldn't have said that. And Ruby, of course, is extremely glamorous.
Okay. Yes. And we have stickers here from General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. We have the original Jamie Bennett design sticker with my logo on it, and we also have the giant General Howitzer sticker. The last line of defense, it has me and Major Hazzard on it. Yeah, a little hairy. So you can get those.
Like you can see me with my lab coat there. That's because I have multiple degrees from real universities. Thank you very much.
For just $5, which is $3 for the stickers and $2 for the shipping. And we also have hats, the General Howitzer hats with the rank on them, $15. And it comes in the OD green, the tan, and of course the black one that I'm wearing right now. So you can order one of those and wear it while you're watching General Howitzer and our Big Monster Briefing Room, and me and Millie Hazzard and the monsters and the guests and such. So now that I've whored myself out and I've shilled miserably, I should get some cups. I should get some General Howitzer mugs.
Yes, where can they all get it, General? Can you please let everyone know how to order these items?
Well, you can contact Rory Penland, who is a good friend of our show, Cadet Rory Penland, and again, work it out with him as far as paying him via Venmo or PayPal, and he will ship the stuff out to you straight away. There you go. Well, okay. Yeah. He's going to do that next weekend.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? He's a dear friend of the network. And do you want to talk a little bit on his behalf?
Again, on the 28th, next weekend, he's going to do the 800 plus voices. Yeah. Rory, who? Who's that? So if anybody's up there in the North Florida area and they want to see him beat his old record of 847 voices in an hour, stop on out there. I don't know if Guinness is going to be a part of it or not. He's still waiting to hear back from him, from what I'm told, and we'll see. So, but he's definitely going to. I mean, he has set the world record for the most voices in an hour. I haven't seen anybody that has beat him, that has showed me to the contrary. So again, he's hoping to do more voices next Friday, which is right before Halloween.
And we do have an advertisement. I don't know if you want me to run it, or I can if you want to.
What is that for?
That is for the Rory Penland performance with the voices. Okay, we don't have it's okay.
We just did the advertisement.
Okay, that's the advertisement. All right, that's good. Just wanted to let you know. Okay.
I don't want to keep our guest waiting too much longer.
Okay, because we do have a video that we have another video that we can play, correct?
But I want to introduce that with her. So we
excellent.
Okay,
okay, here she comes. All right.
And that would be Barbie Magee. Me and my Barbie Magee.
Hi, General Howard.
My favorite vampire
How
hunter.
are you?
I'm good.
I just got back from Fashion Week, and I have just had such a lovely time, just a whirlwind time. But I'm really happy to be back with you. I really am.
Did you kill a lot of vampires?
General Howitzer, it is me. I am doing my American accent.
Oh, okay.
It's very good, right?
Yeah,
I still have been contacted by vampires, and I think we have something to show.
Yes, well, last time you were on, you showed a video of a Q&A session with a vampire, and it was very interesting. And I know that you have another one of those for us, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this.
I do. You know, I have been contacted by many vampires, and so I am trying to tell the story, the real story.
Okay, wonderful.
American accent, I forgot. Hang on. Oh, okay. All right, man. Roll it.
We have a show that comes on after us called Dritta. So she does the same thing. Anyway, here's the video.
These are the vampires among us. These are their stories.
Baron Vargas. Huh. Sounds ominous.
Such a killer.
Thank you for coming in. Bless your heart. I have some questions for you, but the first thing I know is, where did you get that blouse? Is that Valentino?
This whole thing, I've had it for centuries.
Tell me about yourself. You seem like an interesting individual.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been around forever, and I don't like modern technology. You know, it's just very annoying. I mean, I can survive being hit by a car or crashing in an airplane, but, who wants to fly that way, all cramped up, and, you could just fly on your own and you're a vampire,
Yeah, Coach
So,
sucks.
yes, I don't like how people are advancing the way they are.
Now, I have a short survey question. Can you tell me how you feel about today's youth?
The youth today, oh my God, they're so arrogant. I hate them. I want to squeeze their little heads. So it makes it very easy for me to feed on them. I like to eat teens. It just is, psychologically, it's rewarding.
What are your greatest strengths?
I would say my greatest strengths are, being
strengths.
able to move at supersonic speed, being able to read minds, which that took me a while to master that. And, let me think. Able to lift, maybe a ton, if I had to. But who wants to do that, Show off.
Show off.
What are your weaknesses?
Yeah, take these down.
My biggest weakness is probably my personality. I mean, I'm just not a people person. I just don't like to get out with people. I mean, unless I'm beating, and then, it's a surprise,
Where do you see yourself in 100 years?
100.
Where do I see myself in 100 years? What a silly question. That's right around the corner. I'll probably be doing the same thing I'm doing now.
Now, you've probably seen the 1994 classic Interview with a Vampire. Can you tell me how close to reality this movie is?
Yes, I have seen that silly movie, and unfortunately, she got too much of it right. You know, it like takes away some of our advantage when, you know, people learn that kind of thing. So, yes, I'm not down with it.
Like crosses and mirrors. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. There's just one other thing.
Garlic. Ooh, he's fast.
And garlic doesn't work through Zoom.
Thank you for having me on the show. As mentioned before, I have been contacted by many vampires who would like to have their story told. You may notice I have a different accent, but it is the same me, the same cunning vampire killer.
Well, okay.
So this vampire, he was awful, you know. I mean, he was admitting to killing people, multiple people, no problem whatsoever. Just a reprehensible and just unlikable guy.
Yeah, he's your typical Euro trash vampire.
You know, this is a hard job. It's a hard job.
Yeah, well, you know, and again, it was a shame that you couldn't set up an interview area where you could put the garlic around it. But anyway,
I took notes.
Little trap next time.
Yes, I thought for some reason I thought the garlic would work through Zoom as well.
No, it's not like a cross.
Yeah,
well,
I'm refining. I'm refining my techniques, but I'm very close to killing a vampire.
Good, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, which brings us to what we're going to talk about today: the movie Interview with a Vampire by Geffen Pictures. Got to give credit where credit is due. The film starts with a shot of San Francisco, actually the Golden Gate Bridge. It also ends that way, which is good, you know, full circle. It is based on the Anne Rice books about vampires, the Vampire Chronicles. And I like to call this movie Pretty Vampires. Because basically there are all these pretty vampires. I mean, you know, there's and you got Christian Slater, you know, who's another, you know, a handsome pretty boy actor. He's the interviewer. Excuse me, a little peach tea there. And he starts with this interview with Brad Pitt, who, you know, looking at his best as a vampire. You know, okay, there's some veins popping out, but yay, you know,
still got it, right?
Most girls didn't mind that.
Yeah,
when they went and saw this picture 10 times. He takes him back in time to when he was a plantation owner. And I can't see what's going on there. I think it's in there. He has a gambling match, and he's called a cheater, and the guy threatens to shoot him, and he opens up his shirt to say, "Go ahead and do it."
Right.
And Tom Cruise plays Lestat in this, the vampire Lestat. And wow, Tom Cruise, top vampire. You had me at drinking blood. So Anne Rice hated this casting choice at first until the studio check cleared. And then she was like, oh, he's okay.
Actually, I had read that actually she saw him, you know, he's always better than you remember, Tom Cruise, right? And so I think I read that she had seen him as Lestat and was like, okay, he's pretty good, you know.
That'll work. So there he's biting Louis, Brad Pitt, and he gives him a chance to die, which is what he says he wants because he's lost his wife. And he says, yeah, okay, I choose to live. So Lestat is going to try to groom him to be his companion. And there they are at the plantation house. And Lestat's outside his bed. He goes, "Okay, are you ready to become a vampire? Live forever, pretty boy?" So he takes him outside and feeds him his blood, and that's how he makes a vampire. And he bites him again first. He's going to get his blood, And oh god, I'm getting all kinds of messenger questions. So I can't see. Anyway, so he goes through the transformation, and it's kind of painful, and they kind of puke up their bodily fluids, and he's looking around, and like the statues are moving and looking at him and stuff like that. So at the house, he can't eat anything but blood now. So Lestat shows him how to kill rats and pour the blood in a cup so that it looks like he's drinking something, so that the staff doesn't get, suspicious.
Right.
And he keeps trying to get him to bite somebody. And Lestat's actually, he's an asshole vampire. His sense of humor is very dark, very twisted. He's a vampire shithead, asshole. Sorry.
I did want to say, though, that, brilliant to set this at that time in that place, right? Because, like a lot of times you're watching, there's like a vampire thing going on and you're like, well, come on. They would notice if somebody, the small town would notice if one person was getting murdered a year, let alone a night, right?
Well,
but probably not New Orleans or San Francisco around that time, right? Would have been Wild West and, very long.
I think the plantation is in New Orleans, and then they go to San Francisco. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I think it starts in San. I'm sorry.
Starts in this part is in New Orleans, right?
Louisiana, right? Yeah.
Right. The place somewhere on the plantation.
In like the mid to late 1800s, yeah, somewhere. Right. Oh, there he is, squeezing the rat into the cup. So now Louis thinks he's going to be able to survive on chickens and rats' blood. And again, and we get into the chicken thing later. But it's a way to survive without guilt, without killing somebody. But Lestat is trying to teach him, look, if you pick your victim right, if you pick, nasty people, there's no guilt, because you're doing the world a favor, by getting rid of murderers and scumbags.
Right, the Omar of the vampire world, right?
And Lestat really doesn't care. He'll just bite anybody. But he's trying to get Louis to be his companion because he sees something in Louis that he hasn't seen in anybody else.
And he's wrong. Also, that's my favorite part about the whole movie. He sees something in him.
Again, Armand,
he's instantly wrong. He's like, no, I'm not killing people. Oh, we lost General Howitzer. And now you're left with me. You're back. You're back. Okay. Are you back? Now you have no sound. Okay. I'm still alive. Okay, so now this is the scene with the lady who killed her husband. And he really just, Louis screws this up royally. And then Lestat has to jump in and do the deed, right? Because, of course, the evil woman has to be killed, right? Yeah. Oh, this was her companion that Lestat was hanging out with. If you leave me alone long enough, I'm going to end up talking about sex. And I really want to talk about sex in this movie, right? Like, are they banging each other? Are vampires banging each other in this movie? In this world, right? I can't remember from the books, and it's always so vague in the movie, right? Like, as to whether they're actually having sex. Right? It seems like it's definitely very homoerotic, right? Lestat has wanted to be with Louis, and you don't know, right? Yeah.
Sorry.
Hot.
Yeah, came out and had to come back in.
You missed everything I just said, and you'll see it.
I know.
In the recording. Yeah.
I know. I got an Amber Alert about a kidnapped kid on my phone. Anyway, you try to set it up so that nothing goes wrong, and then, So, yeah. Okay, where are we at now here?
Okay, we killed the evil lady who killed her husband.
Oh, her poodles. Yes, he kills the poodles.
Right. Yeah.
Lestat is furious. I love this scene, by the way. And then he goes off to kill all the chickens. So naturally, the people are dying. The chickens are dying. They know what's going on.
Right.
They all know what's going on now. So they want to kill Louis and Lestat. And he flips out, because he kills one of his good hands. There, she's a very sweet lady.
Who were enslaved.
Yeah. So he burns the place down just to spite Louis, because he knows Louis wants the plantation. So there's where he accidentally loses it. He just can't resist any longer, and he kills her.
She went on and had a very good career.
I don't know.
Yes, I'm looking.
All right, interesting. What's her name?
I want to say Thandie Newton.
Oh yeah, Thandie Newton.
Right?
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Thandie Newton. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up.
They all went on to have incredible careers. I mean, Kirsten Dunst went on to Spider-Man, etc. Stephen Rea was Santiago in this. He was actually famous for The Crying Game. And then
and of course Antonio Banderas. Okay, I'm just gonna lose my mind when he comes on, so we'll just go. Okay, go.
All right. So yeah, he's perfect as Armand.
I didn't really expect that these sexy vampires were actually going to affect me quite so much.
Well, and again, this is the problem with this film is it's glamorizing vampirism, and they just want to suck your blood. Okay, so I love it when people do riffs on that, on the fact that you want to be immortal and all that, but what they're going to do is trick you into sucking all your blood out, and you're going to die, and that's it. So
a little artless, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of a trick. So he burns down the plantation, and they end up going to San Francisco, I think.
They're in a hotel room killing
this is
sex workers.
Yeah, they're killing prostitutes. And Lestat is playing with his food. He's putting her in the coffin, and yes, it is a coffin, and you're dead, my dear. And Louis is like, oh, come on, man, I can't do this. Come on, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And thank you, Julio Morales, for pointing out it's Bela Lugosi's birthday. I didn't know that today, so how apropos. So I did catch that earlier.
And Brad Pitt is the moral center. His character is the moral center of this, right?
He still has a conscience. Yeah. And the other vampires are like, whoa, wait a minute. You can do that? You can still have a conscience and be a vampire? Well, so wow, a lot of these are dark and I can't see what's going on.
This is when they meet. They go into the plague, and we meet.
Oh yeah, okay.
The little girl,
Claudia.
Yes.
Who is her mother is dead from the plague. Louis is just wandering around. He doesn't want to have anything to do with Lestat, and he just doesn't want to kill people. He's just killing rats, and he comes upon Claudia and her dead mother, and I guess he feels in his mind he's doing a mercy killing with her, and he takes her blood, and that's when that's when Lestat catches him, and he thinks it's hysterical. There's her dead mom.
Right.
And she looks gnarly.
Bad form. Right.
So yeah, and Lestat dances around with the dead mother, and I mean he's just terrible.
Yeah.
He's worse than Vargas. than Baron Vargas.
Yeah, definitely.
So Dennis is here. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. So yeah, that's when she hugs him. And that's when Lestat catches him.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
And,
yeah. Look at that Tom Cruise smile right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is Lestat. I mean, Lestat is he's like that. He really is like that. He's very arrogant. He's very powerful. He's a very powerful vampire. And I'm saying that from reading the books.
Right.
He's actually one of the few vampires that actually can go out in the sunlight without burning up. He's a very powerful vampire. So Lestat brings Claudia back to their place where they're staying, and he turns her into a vampire to keep Louis around. He figures, hey, I'll make a child for us, not realizing what's going to happen in 30, 40 years. When she doesn't grow up, when she just stays, a little kid.
My sense Lestat knew, but go on. Right?
I don't think he really thought about it at the time. He wanted Louis. He wanted to keep Louis, tethered to him. So, she rides around in the bed, and she's, and again, you got to be careful. According to this, you have to be careful what the person looks like when you make them into a vampire, because if they got a shitty ass cut from Supercuts or something, you should wait on immortality until your hair grows out, to the way you like it. Because it's always going to be that way throughout eternity. It's always going to grow back to that way throughout eternity. So there she's changed. She's turned.
She should be grateful for that hair. Look at those curls, right? She gets that for eternity at least.
I was kind of wondering what the hell was going on with the Shirley Temple thing. But, is that what she was supposed to look like being perfect? I don't know.
Probably, right?
She got tired of it after 30 years.
She what?
She got tired of it after 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Right? Can you imagine how many times you would have bangs in the course?
On the good ship, lollipop, gonna drink your blood to the very last drop.
Thank you. I just made that up just now. All right. So now they're a big, happy family. That's going to go in the best of reel. They're a big, happy family now, the three of them. They're going to travel around and enjoy life. Throw out the notes. What the hell? And for some reason, I guess instinctively, she is drawn to Louis. She really doesn't like Lestat from the very beginning, even though Lestat is the one who turned her.
Right.
But she is sleeping in Louis' coffin and cuddling with him. She just realizes, I guess, that he's a better person. Just instinctively that he's a nice guy compared to Lestat, who's, kind of a dick.
Right. Right. Also,
sweet kid. Yeah. So, yeah, she's even after they got her own little coffin, she crawls into his coffin to sleep with him. And she's kind of devious in her own way.
Oh, yeah.
She does the little kid thing on the bench, waiting for people to come to her, and she cries and gets them to get close, and puts the bite on them. Bite shop owners. There she is with the piano teacher that smacks her on the hand. That was a bad move.
Yep.
And this is what, again, about 30 years later, she realizes, hey, I'm not aging, and I'm seeing beautiful women in the window naked, and I want to be like that. What the hell?
Right.
And then she realizes I'm always going to be like this, and I don't want to be like this all the time. So I want to grow up like everybody else.
Right. So
again,
even
so most
she's
kids
frozen at that age, she still goes through adolescence.
So here we come to our next rift in their relationship. Because now we have a triangle, and we got two fathers and a kid who's now a grown woman in a kid's body, and she wants to know how it happened. And they explain it to her. Or I guess Louis explains it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she cuts her hair, and again it grows back, and she's horrified that this is the way it hits her. This is the way I'm going to look for eternity.
Never gonna have bangs.
And she cuts Lestat's face with her. Mm-hmm. They all get sharp clawed fingernails. This is a sign of a vampire. Mm-hmm. And it just heals instantly.
Standard issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Standard issue. Nicely done. So she pretty much convinces Louis, hey, we got to get away from this guy. He's just bad. He's bad news. We got to get away from him. How are we going to get away from him? Well, we got to try to kill him. How are we going to try to kill him? So she comes up with actually a very good plan. She gives him twins who are poisoned with laudanum, and allowing him to drink tainted blood, dead blood, which is also laced with laudanum to keep it warm. And then she cuts his throat. And then they some nice effects from Stan Winston's crew here. When Lestat is draining out, his life force is draining out, and he's turning blue. And then they take him to the swamp and dump him in the swamp where the alligators can feed on him. What they don't realize is it's the other way around.
Right.
He goes after the snakes and the alligators, and he replenishes himself.
But never quite his former glory, I don't think, right? He doesn't really ever come back. Does he?
True.
Right.
True. Because here they're planning to leave for Europe.
Right.
Just to be safe. But they don't realize that Lestat, again, is very powerful and he's very resourceful. He knows what he's doing as a vampire. He's learned a lot. Because he's been around for a couple hundred years. So he shows back up. He's playing the piano and he's a corpse. He doesn't look great. And Louis stumbles upon the thing that's very important in the vampire world, and that is they're flammable. So he accidentally sets, Lestat ablaze. He throws a lantern at him. It catches on the floor and the carpet by Lestat. Lestat is, dripping swamp blood. And boom, he goes up. He goes up really fast. And the whole house goes up really fast. And the whole of where they are goes up really fast. I mean, like blocks and blocks, because he's, dancing on the ceiling. So there it is. The whole town has gone ablaze because these guys set a vampire on fire.
Right.
I'd like to see the
Next
fireman
time
come
when you
and
set
go,
a vampire on fire,
what?
you should have a fire extinguisher nearby. Once it's over, you can just quickly, so before it spreads and, kills regular people. Right?
The vampire came into their house. He's like, well, actually the V started here on the ceiling. So that's where the fire started.
Right. You know what you got to do? You have a draft here.
So in Europe, there's roaming around for months and not a sign of a vampire. And then one shows up, Santiago, played by Stephen Rea, dancing on the ceiling again. They love to do that stuff. And then he smacks Brad Pitt around Louis, and Louis is like, what? This is what I find, after looking for months and months for a vampire. And that's when Armand shows up. And he hands him his card. Theater to Vampires. Vampires pretending to be vampires on stage.
I love him so much. No, I don't.
So it's entertaining at first. That is just kind of, offsetting.
You're talking about this performance? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, they're enthralled in the beginning, and then they realize, wait a minute, this is a little too close to home. We don't like this. The crowd is, put on edge, and I actually thought the performance was very interesting. Stephen Rea is a very good actor. He's a very fun actor, especially in this character. He's nasty, but on stage he's pretty funny, pretty cool. Mary Poppins, ceiling dancing. Thank you, Julio. Yes, with any chance that I could do Ed Wynn, I'm gonna do it. My happy place on the ceiling, drinking tea. All right. So in the performance, they take a girl. She's very naked.
Young woman.
And Armand. Yeah, I should say woman, I guess. Armand comes out and he finishes out the show. And at one point, a girl even in the audience, or a lady in the audience, was like, "Take me, take me." He's like, "It's your time." So Armand has got a little boy that is kind of like a fine wine. He keeps drinking from him, but he's still a boy. He's not a vampire. And Santiago hears their thoughts. He can read thoughts, and he hears about Lestat, and they tried to kill Lestat. And this is a problem because they have one law, and that is you don't try to kill another vampire. And they know that it's Claudia that did it. So now it comes to Claudia's fighting with Louis because she thinks he's going to leave her for Armand. And they fight because she brings in a woman that she wants to be her mother, her companion. And he's like, I don't want to do this. You're asking me to do the one thing I can't really, I just don't want to do it. So, but she talks him into it. She guilts him into making a vampire out of the woman. And 2 seconds later, the Vampire Theater guys show up and ruin the party and scuttle them off to the Vampire Theater underground. And they bury Louis in a coffin in the wall. And they take Claudia and the woman who has just been turned into a vampire minutes ago, into a vampire. They take them to a, it's like a well, I guess. And again, the light can come in from the ceiling. So here they are dragging them apart. Evil vampires.
Right.
And again, this is Armand's problem. He's like, I'm hanging out with these guys and I freaking hate them. Okay.
Right.
They're all such stereotypical vampires. I just hate them. I've
Right.
grown to hate
style.
all of them.
You know, he has a lot of style, right?
And he says, but you, Louis, you got the key to the future. You're the next generation of vampire. I want to be with you because I want to learn from you. You want to learn from me. I want to learn from you. So it's an interesting situation. Because we are seeing how evil those vampires are. And there's the view of the from the bottom of the well there of the night air coming in. Every time I take a drink, she goes to a close up. She wants those noises. I know you want those noises. So all right. So they're in the well, and of course, he's in a box, and the sun comes up. The vampires are asleep now, but these two are in the bottom of the well, and here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo, turn into ash, and I say good night. So yeah, they just basically start to burn and turn into ash, and Armand hears all of this going on. He knows what's going on. He's allowing it to happen. So then he tries to look like the hero by digging Louis out after it's too late. And Louis goes into the bottom of the well there at night and sees them as an ashen statue, basically holding each other. He touches it, and the damn thing disintegrates just into ash. And it's horrific. I mean, this is somebody he spent decades with as friends. And so that's it. It's down to, okay, Armand, I'm going to get my revenge on Santiago here, who obviously is an asshole. And the rest of your gang, they're a bunch of assholes. So I'm going to burn them up. I'm coming back. I'm coming back at dawn.
Evil and not asshole, right? Assholes steal your parking space. Evil people.
I think they would steal your parking
theater
space.
Productions where they can kill young people.
I think they would steal your parking space if given the chance. And would suck your blood.
That is true evil, right?
I think they would cut you off in traffic just to, anyway. So he says, I'm going to come back at dawn, just before dawn when they go to sleep. I'm going to set them all on fire, and then I'm going to go out in the sun and kill myself.
That's a plan.
And again, Armand allows it to happen because he goes, I'm going to swoop in and I'm going to save him at the last chance, and we'll be together, and it'll be just the two of us. So he grabs the scythe from the show, which I thought was an interesting choice. Sets the place ablaze. The Santiago, of course, knows it's going to happen because he can read minds, and he's there, but he's not fast enough for Louis. Louis actually knows he can predict where he's going to move and he's actually got the jump on him, and he cuts him in half with a scythe and lets him burn up with the rest of them, which is a very entertaining scene. He goes out into the sun, and here comes Louis in his horse and carriage, a dark horse and carriage akin to the what the mortuary people used to ride up in, with the horses with the black feathers coming up out of their heads, and he says, "Get in!" And the young boy, the little boy,
great. Okay,
is the carriage guy. Which is kind of like a short round thing in Indiana Jones too. There's a kid driving this thing. And he thinks that they're going to go off together and go into the new century together, learning from each other. But this, in a great scene, Louis just blows him off. Says, nope, not going to happen. Sorry.
I've been listening to you motherfuckers this whole time. Brought nothing but pain. I'm out.
Nope. Not gonna get it. Not gonna get what you want. You're all alone now. You're all alone. And again, that actually is a big theme in the books. Armand always shows up every now and again just to tell everybody how miserable he is. He's alone and nobody will join him after he pulled that stunt in the books. So he kisses him goodbye. You I think realize better than anybody all the homoerotica that's going on in these films, right? Not this film, but the Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned, etc.
Well, I'm trying to remember in the books if they actually talk about the vampires having sex, or is it just feeding on each other, or is it just
I just think feeding together. They're companions, but I don't think sex is any part of it.
I really think it is.
Again, if you read Rory Penland's book, it's a different story.
A ton of bonking going on the whole time. There's bonking, right? I mean, come on. Why would Armand and Lestat be so hot for Louis? Right? Come on.
Different part of it. Just different priorities. They just okay. I used to be into that, but now I'm into drinking blood. So anyway, Louis moves into the 20th century and he finds movies, and they show him dressed in contemporary clothes, which I think is a great touch. He's enjoying movies, and he can see a sunrise in a movie and it doesn't kill him. Which I would think that if a vampire saw even an imitation sunrise in a movie, it probably would kill him. But anyway, that's just
maybe this is why I thought I could use the garlic, right?
I think they are allergic to garlic, but you got me in the same room. That's why I think you should set up a garlic trap next time, where the garlic just flies down and burns them. Anyway, little holy water. Here, have that drink that I left for you. It's bottled water. Right. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it's holy water.
You thought it was Prosecco, you fool!
Get smart. I thought that was Walmart water. Okay. What is happening here now? Oh, he gets the scent of his old friend Lestat. Because he's back in San Francisco again. And he goes into a house that's like an abandoned house. And upstairs, Lestat is there. Vampire orgies. And they see each other, and they're happy to see each other, or at least Lestat's happy to see Louis. And Louis like, oh, well, there you are. Okay, I'm gonna take off now, because I don't want to really be around you because you're a psycho. And he's finishing up his interview, and he realizes
like that.
I'm sorry.
I said so many people's exes are like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Again, as much time as they spent together, and he was, kind of a jerk. I get it. But what he's been trying to tell this interviewer is that, being a vampire is a rough life. And the vampire's like, what are you kidding? I want to be like you. What are you talking about? And so he scares him. He lifts him up and says, you want me to feed on you? And he plays the vampire thing up to the hilt. And Christian Slater needs to change his shorts.
He hops
into his car, which is a bitchin' Mustang, and takes off. He pops one of the tapes in there in the car tape player. Realizes he got a killer interview. He loves it. He's going across the bridge, the Golden Gate, and very happy. And Lestat pops up. I don't think I need to be introduced. And he bites him. And the car is all over the bridge. It's scraping up the side of the bridge. Lestat gets his hands on the wheel, and instantly he realizes, hey, I can drive a car. This is cool. About 5 minutes earlier, he didn't know what a helicopter was. And he was like, the lights, it's the sun. He's figuring it out. He is. He's figuring it out.
It's very quick. Yeah.
So he takes over the car and he pops the tape out. He goes, I don't want to listen to Louis. He's a whiner. And he pops in a little the Stones, or I think it was actually somebody else that recorded it. Sympathy for the Devil, and that's it. We expect that Lestat will be back soon and have his own thing. And they did follow this up with the Queen of the Damned, with Aaliyah being the Queen of the Damned. I can't remember who the guy was. Stuart Copeland, who played Lestat.
Stuart Copeland?
Something like that.
From the police?
What's that?
From the police?
No. I mean, I probably got it wrong.
I'm
So anyway, he's the guy that played Dorian Gray in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, whatever.
Stuart Townsend.
Very good.
Yes. Yep.
So again, he's a pretty boy. He did an amiable job in that. I don't think the director was as good for that movie, but that was actually a combination of the Vampire Lestat, where he becomes a rock star, and the Queen of the Damned, where she shows up and starts to threaten the world because she feeds a lot, like a lot. So she's gonna basically cause the planet to be extinct in a few weeks if he doesn't step in.
And so there was also the novel, The Vampire Lestat, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that came after Queen of the Damned?
I'm not sure.
Look that up,
I just know that movie, The Queen of the Damned, was based on those two books.
Right.
And they still haven't done my favorite book, is The Tale of the Body Thief, which is a very interesting Lestat book, where somebody tricks Lestat getting out of his body, having an out-of-body experience, and then he hops into Lestat's body and takes it for a ride for a while. And Lestat has to get his body back, which is very interesting.
This went on for a while. So there was Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, The Tale of the Body Thief,
Yes.
Memnoch the Devil. I don't even know.
Terrible book. Memnoch the Devil was just shite.
And the Vampire Armand.
Yeah.
Right? And
which
then
I haven't
read. Blood and Gold, Blackwood. I don't even know what these are. Prince Lestat. Right? Blood Communion, A Tale of Prince Lestat. Right? Yeah. And then she's got some of the. Oh, and then she got into like her Christian phase.
Of course, Jamie has all of these books. she has her own show about the shadows, where she talks about scary stuff. She won the competition last night on Painting with Rory, and it was trivia about scary stuff. So naturally, she aced the test and won the prize.
So can we do a quick poll with the people who are in the chat?
Sure.
Which, and this is not going to be a surprise, this question, okay? Which vampire do you most want to bang? Can I put mine in?
Well, I know your answer.
Yeah.
It's Armand. But
Armand.
The question almost made me spit up peach tea through my nose.
Peach
all
tea's
right.
good, yeah.
So,
Armand!
we got a Facebook user that says Armand. Did they spell it right? Vampire was Vittorio. Interesting. Barnabas. Barnabas Collins. The Johnny Depp version?
Count Dracula.
Count
Classic.
Dunkula. Dunkula. Vampira. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
God, should I answer this? I am a big fan of Vampira. I think but
if we were just to stick to this movie.
Elvira. There you go.
Elvira.
Cassandra Peterson.
Yeah.
Even today.
Is she a vampire or she's just a mistress of the night? What was she?
Yeah. She's certainly a mistress of the night, that's for sure. So yeah, if she's not a vampire, then yeah, I would have to say Vampirella.
Vampirella.
So you can put the bite on me anytime.
Or the Count from Sesame Street.
The Count from Sesame Street.
Can you do that one?
Start. I'm sticking to it. The Tom Cruise version? Or the other guy?
No, can you do the Count from Sesame Street?
There
you go.
One and rice book. Two and rice books. We'll be here all day. We'll be here for eternity.
What? Yeah, I'll get you a count. How many? You keep going.
She wrote a lot. She wrote a lot. She wrote mummy books. She wrote witches books. She wrote all kinds of books.
Oh my gosh, she wrote those Sleeping Beauty books.
Stuart version. Okay.
Bad. Those were very bad, but very good at the same time.
Those were very naughty.
Naughty. Very naughty. Yes.
Right.
Now, I have a question. How did we make it through this movie so fast? Usually we're like struggling to make it through the whole thing.
Yeah. And again, we had a big teaser coming in too. There really isn't much to it as far as, just like a handful of relationships. You go from one relationship with the vampire with Louis and Lestat, then to Claudia being involved, then to getting rid of Lestat and going to Armand and his group. I mean, there's really not a lot to it as plot wise. There are some fun, interesting facts that go in these. Like the poodle scene is my favorite scene. I love that scene.
I feel like there's like a reality TV. Like
but they're like the Kardashians. They're pretty, but there's really not much substance to it.
That's what I'm saying. If they're just focused on relationships and things like that, isn't it like real world vampires, right?
I guess Lestat was kind of like the Kanye of the, of the story. No. Yeah.
Well.
Maybe Santiago was.
Yeah. Well.
So, okay. Well, we want to thank you again for coming and joining us for this vampire movie. We'll have you back again very soon. I know I'm going to try to get Jamie and you on the same show to do a horrifically bad movie from 1971 called Dracula versus Frankenstein. I got a pristine copy of it to make the timeline with. And it's like drive-in trash. It's so hysterical. Lon Chaney Jr. was one of his last movie roles.
Phoning it in or something. Probably a lot.
J. Carroll Nash. No. What's funny is he's doing a halfway werewolf, halfway Lenny from Of Mice and Men in it. It's really funny. He's carrying puppies around, but he's killing people with an axe, and he's going.
Yeah.
And you can just see the ravages. You can see the ravages of the alcoholism on him, through the whole movie. J. Carroll Nash plays Dr. Frankenstein. The Dracula actually has those plastic fangs that you can get for 25 cents. The glow in the dark ones.
Dropping. Oh wait.
And the guy's still alive. He's like the only guy still alive. Russ Tamblyn is in it as a gang member. It's just unbelievable. And I want to get you and Jamie on for that show, Frankenstein versus Dracula. And again, it's just amazing the talent they got for this movie, and it was just wow, just so B film. So okay, well,
this was not a B film. It doesn't get any more
A-list
film than this film, right?
And again, surprisingly, this director who did direct The Crying Games and then directed this one, unfortunately, he wasn't given a lot to do after this. I mean, he did some movies and stuff, but they just, he's a very good director from Ireland. And this movie was actually a very good movie. Even though it was about pretty vampires and it glamorized vampires, and got a lot of girls going, "Oh, I want to live forever with you, Tom Cruise," with Brad Pitt. Again, it was a very well-made film. And a great, and what's funny? I always thought that Joel Schumacher directed this for some reason. For years, I thought Joel Schumacher directed this, probably because Elliot Goldenthal did the soundtrack for it. And by the way, it is an awesome soundtrack with harpsichord in it, and just a wonderful soundtrack. You disapprove?
I don't like harpsichords, but I'm sure
you don't like this vampire music.
Well, I'm not a big fan of this vampire film, right? You know how I am about vampire films being scary, because vampires are scary, right? I didn't find these vampires scary. Also, they were just so
This wasn't really a scary movie. No,
hating this one, I love this one. I gotta be with this one. It was a soap opera.
if Schumacher directed this, we would have seen all their nipples. I got to end the show on that comment. Thank you again, Barbie Magee, for joining us. Thank you, Hazzard, Major Hazzard.
Thank you very much, General.
Make sure it all went smoothly. And again, I want you all to keep an eye out for those vampires, those zombies, and those big monsters out there.